Hey, English learners. Welcome back to the English Conversation Studio, your English podcast for real conversation practice and easy English in daily life. I'm Mia.
And I'm Finn. We're really happy you're here with us today.
We really are. So, Finn, let me ask you a question to start us off. I want you to be completely honest with me.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm ready. Ask away, Mia.
Have you ever woken up on a Saturday morning, felt super ambitious, made a massive to-do list, and then rewarded yourself with a 2-hour nap before actually doing a single thing on that list?
Oh, 100%. You are reading my mind right now. Just last month, I decided I was going to get my life together. I spent 2 hours cleaning my desk, making a beautiful vision board, and writing down my goals with 5 different colored pens. I had motivational quotes, I had a cup of coffee, I had everything except the actual energy to do the work. I took the rest of the day off because planning felt like enough work.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. And honestly, I think everyone listening right now is nodding their head. That's the exact spirit of today's episode.
It's a feeling so many of us relate to, but we don't really want to admit it out loud. It's that feeling of being incredibly ambitious, but also kind of lazy.
Exactly, Finn. You have the big dreams, you know you have the potential, you want to speak fluent English or start a business or get fit, but somehow you still end up sitting on the sofa, scrolling through funny videos on your phone with a snack in your hand.
We want the reward without the work. We want the success, but we don't want to get up early to do it. If that sounds familiar to you, you are in the perfect place today. We are going to unpack exactly why ambition alone is never enough and how we can finally close the gap between what you want to do and what you actually do.
And before we dive deep into this, I want to remind our listeners that we have a free PDF guide for today's episode. It's totally free, and it has all the key takeaways, some great comprehension questions, and extra grammar practice.
Yes, the link is right down in the description. Go ahead and download it. But hey, maybe actually open it. Don't just let it sit in your downloads folder for the next 3 weeks.
Good advice. We are also going to use some great intermediate level vocabulary words today. And later in the episode, Finn and I are going to break those words down together so you can start using them in your daily life.
Perfect. All right, Mia, the stage is set. We've exposed our own lazy habits. Let's get into the heart of the topic. Why do we do this? Because being ambitious but lazy isn't just a funny personality trait. It's actually a psychological pattern.
It really is, and if you don't recognize it, it can quietly hold you back for years. So we are going to break down the biggest traps that keep us stuck and talk about what English learners can do to take real, practical steps forward. Let's start with trap number 1.
The first trap. I call this one the motivation mirage.
Ooh, I love that name. Explain what a mirage is for our listeners, Finn.
A mirage is something you see in the distance, like an oasis of water in a hot desert, but when you get closer, it completely disappears. It isn't real. And that is exactly what motivation is.
So true. We all tell ourselves, I'll study English when I feel motivated. But waiting for motivation is like chasing that mirage. You might watch a really inspiring video online and you feel this huge burst of energy. You think, yes, I'm going to change my life right now.
But then what happens? 5 minutes later, the video's over, the feeling fades away, and you're back in bed. It is wild how we confuse feeling inspired with actually doing something.
Exactly. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions change constantly. Motivation is like fireworks. It's loud, it's bright, it's very dramatic, but it only lasts for a few seconds.
Right. What we actually need isn't motivation, it's momentum.
Momentum. That's a great word. How do you build momentum in your own life, Finn?
For me, it's about tricking my brain to just start. Let's say I need to clean my apartment, but I feel lazy. I'll tell myself I am only going to wash one single coffee cup. That's it.
And let me guess, once you wash the coffee cup, you decide to wipe the counter too?
Exactly. My brain wakes up. I wash the cup, then I wipe the counter, and suddenly I've cleaned the whole kitchen. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation, not the other way around.
That is such a powerful lesson for English learners. If you are listening to us right now, don't wait for the perfect moment or the right mood to practice your English. Just tell yourself, I will write down one sentence, or I will listen to a podcast for 2 minutes. Once you start, it becomes so much easier to keep going. Progress starts with a simple decision, not a magical feeling.
Speaking of progress, there is another massive trap that loves to stand in its way. It wears a nice suit and pretends to be our best friend, but really it's just fear.
Are you talking about perfectionism?
I am definitely talking about perfectionism.
Oh, this one hits home for me. I used to think perfectionism was a good thing. I thought it was a badge of honor. I would tell people, oh, I just have very high standards. But looking back then, it completely paralyzed me.
How so? What were you trying to do?
Well, a few years ago, I wanted to start posting short English teaching videos online, just 2-minute videos. But it took me 3 entire weeks to film one video. I kept re-recording it. I couldn't decide if the lighting was right, if my hair looked okay, or if my tone of voice sounded professional enough. I was polishing something that didn't even exist yet.
Wow, 3 weeks for a 2-minute video? I completely understand that though. I used to do the exact same thing with my language learning. When I was learning Spanish, I would rehearse conversations in my head for hours. I had a whole perfect TED Talk prepared in my mind.
Let me guess. Then you actually met a native speaker.
Yes, I walked into a cafe. The barista just casually asked me, "Hey, how's your day going?" And my brain just shut down. I completely froze. I was so obsessed with not making a mistake that I couldn't even say, "I'm fine, thank you."
That is the danger of perfectionism. It's like trying to bake the world's most delicious cake, but you refuse to crack a single egg because you might make a mess in the kitchen.
Exactly, Mia. You stay stuck at step 0, just dreaming about the final masterpiece. For anyone learning English right now, please do not let perfection stop you from speaking.
Don't wait until you sound like a native speaker. That day is a mirage. You have to speak right now. You have to stumble over your words, you have to make mistakes and laugh at them. That is the true formula for fluency. Just swap out the word perfect for the word progress.
That one shift is a total game changer. But Mia, what happens after you finally take that first step? You'd think things would just flow easily, right?
You'd think. But then comes trap number 3, goal bloating. Suddenly, you want to run in 15 different directions all at once, and boom, you are stuck again.
Oh, the classic trap of trying to do too much. It feels productive to make a huge list, but in reality, you're just carrying so many goals that you can't actually move forward with any of them.
Exactly. It's like trying to juggle 10 water balloons. You can't catch any of them because your hands are too full, and eventually they all smash on the floor.
And this is huge for English learners. You see people trying to master complex grammar, memorize 50 vocabulary words a day, fix their pronunciation, and read a heavy English novel all at the exact same time.
It's too much mental clutter. The secret to success isn't adding more goals. It is about streamlining. You have to pick one focus. If you struggle with speaking, make speaking your only extra goal for this week. That laser focus allows your progress to compound over time. Less noise, more doing.
One step, one target, one win at a time. Now, once you narrow down your goals, there's another very sneaky trap waiting. This trap wears a tie and calls itself productivity, but really it's false productivity.
Procrastination in disguise.
Exactly, I am the king of this. I will tell myself I need to start studying, but then I think, wait, I need the perfect app first. So I spend 3 hours reading reviews of language apps online. I feel so incredibly busy, but I haven't actually learned a single thing.
We all do it. You're rearranging your tools on your desk instead of actually building the house. It gives you the illusion that you are moving forward.
So how do we stop doing this?
You have to ask yourself an honest question. Am I actually preparing to do the work, or am I just hiding? Do not let the preparation phase become your permanent home. Open a blank page and write a terrible, messy paragraph in English. Just start messy.
Start messy. I love that. Because if we don't start, we usually fall into trap number 5, overthinking. Sometimes we aren't researching or organizing. We are just sitting silently, running a marathon in our minds.
Overthinking is often more exhausting than physical work. You mentally rehearse a task 100 times instead of just doing it once. I remember losing an hour of sleep over one single email to a colleague, just thinking about whether my tone was too cold.
By the morning, your brain is completely drained. We call this analysis paralysis, and English learners face this every single day. Before they speak, their brain starts racing. What if I use the wrong verb tense? What if they don't understand my accent?
By the time you think of all the possible things that could go wrong, the conversation has moved on. You talked yourself out of trying.
Which brings us to the deepest truth of this entire episode, Mia. What looks like laziness on the outside is almost always just fear in a clever disguise.
Wow, yes. Fear is paralyzing. Our brain convinces us that not trying at all is much safer than trying and failing. If you don't try, you can't fail, so you label yourself as lazy because being lazy feels less painful than feeling like a failure.
But here is the hard truth. Fear is completely normal. Even native speakers get scared. The only way out of fear is to walk straight through it. Speak up just one time in your next meeting. Allow yourself to feel awkward. Pushing through that fear is bravery in motion.
Beautifully said, Finn. So we've broken down the mental blocks. Now let's give our listeners the ultimate physical strategy to beat this ambitious but lazy feeling.
Let's do it. If you want to take action, you have to set yourself up for success by making the first step ridiculously easy. We call this lowering the friction.
I like to use the mountain metaphor for this. Imagine you're standing at the bottom of a snowy mountain, but you're wearing your comfortable bedroom slippers. Are you going to start climbing?
Definitely not. I'm going back inside. The friction is too high. It takes too much effort.
Exactly. But what if your only goal was just to put on your hiking boots? That's easy. You can do that. And once the boots are on, taking one step outside doesn't seem so hard.
Lowering the friction is a superpower. A few years ago, I wanted to build a habit of reading more books before bed. But my book was on a shelf across the room. It felt like too much work to get up. So I put the book on my pillow every morning. At night, I physically had to touch it to get into bed. There was zero friction. I just promised to read one page.
It works the exact same way for studying English. If your textbooks are hidden at the bottom of a heavy backpack, you are never going to study.
Way too much friction.
Instead, leave your English notebook open on your desk with a pen sitting right on top of it.
Move your language learning app to the main home screen of your phone. Instead of saying, I am going to study grammar for 2 hours today, tell yourself, I'm going to learn one new phrase while I brush my teeth.
Make it easy. Make it obvious. Those tiny actions compound over time. Before you know it, you haven't just learned a language. You have built an unstoppable habit.
And you didn't do it with exhausting willpower. You did it by design. Sometimes success is not about working harder. It is just about starting smaller.
Absolutely. So we've unpacked a lot of deep psychology today. We went through the motivation mirage, perfectionism, goal bloating, false productivity, overthinking, fear, and lowering friction. We really hope that you are walking away feeling ready to take one tiny, messy step.
And of course, during this deep dive, we dropped quite a few powerful intermediate words and phrases.
We certainly did. So before we wrap up today's episode, Finn, let's break down some of that vocabulary together for our listeners, right here, right now.
I love that idea. Let's start with a fun one we used earlier, quirk. You said being ambitious but lazy isn't just a quirk.
Right. A quirk is a unique, slightly unusual habit or behavior that a person has. For example, my coworker is great, but one of his quirks is that he talks to his office plants every morning.
I love that. Okay, next up is mirage. You called motivation a mirage.
Yes, a mirage is something that looks real or promising in the distance, but actually isn't real. For example, the idea of overnight success is usually just a mirage. True growth takes a lot of time.
Instead of a mirage, we need momentum. That's the force that keeps something moving forward once it starts. Like when you wipe down one kitchen counter, you build the momentum to clean your whole apartment.
Exactly. But what stops momentum is perfectionism. We talked a lot about this. Perfectionism is the constant desire for everything to be flawless, which usually causes delays, stress, or a fear of failure.
Which leads perfectly to our next word, stumble. To stumble means to make a temporary mistake or briefly lose your balance. You can stumble physically when walking, or you can stumble over your words during an English conversation. And as we said, making mistakes is perfectly okay.
It really is. Now, to avoid setting too many goals and burning out, you suggested we streamline them. What does that mean?
To streamline means to make a system or a process simpler and more efficient by removing unnecessary steps. For example, if your mornings are chaotic, you need to streamline your routine by picking out your clothes the night before.
That definitely helps clear out mental clutter. Mental clutter is when you have way too many thoughts, worries, or plans in your head at once, making it very hard to focus.
Oh, definitely. And when we have too much mental clutter, our bad habits often wear a disguise. To disguise means to hide the true appearance or nature of something. For instance, sometimes our fear of failure is just disguised as laziness.
And finally, our last word, friction. In daily life, friction refers to the obstacles or difficult steps that make progress harder or slow you down. If you want to eat healthier, you should remove the friction by cutting your vegetables in advance so they are easy to grab when you're hungry.
Boom! That is your vocabulary boost for today. We challenge you to pick just one or two of these words and try using them when you write or speak English this week. The more you use them, the more natural they will become.
Beautifully said, Mia. All right, to all of you wonderful learners listening right now, if today's episode resonated with you, head down to the comment section. Tell us, what is the one tiny messy action you are going to take today to move closer to your goals?
We read every single comment and we love cheering you on. Remember, don't wait to feel 100% ready.
Start messy. Lower the friction.
Just start. All right, friends, that is all for today. We will see you in the next episode for more real talk
More laughs.
and more practical ways to level up your English and your life.
Stay curious, everyone.
Stay kind.
And most importantly,
Keep going. Bye for now.